To most people, it's just an old car. Rusty, worn out, something that belongs in a junkyard, not a garage. But the moment I pull open that heavy door and catch that smell, oil, aged rubber, and decades of history, I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. That door closes behind me with a deep, definitive thud. And just like that, the outside world disappears. No notifications, no deadlines, no noise. Just me, this machine, and a silence that somehow speaks louder than anything else in my life. People ask me why I pour so much time, money, and energy into restoring an old Mercedes. And honestly, the answer isn't simple, because this was never really about a car. It was always about something far deeper than that. There's a certain kind of person who restores old Mercedes. And if you know one, you already know this. They don't cut corners. Ever. The word good enough simply doesn't exist in their vocabulary. I've waited weeks, sometimes months, for a single original bolt. I've driven hours to track down a correct trim piece that most people wouldn't even notice. And I'd do it again without hesitation. Because being a Mercedes restorer isn't just a hobby. It's a standard of living. It's a commitment to doing things right, even when no one is watching, even when the easier path is sitting right there in front of you. This kind of perfectionism isn't obsession, it's integrity. And in a world that constantly rewards shortcuts, that integrity feels more radical than ever. And then there are those moments, the ones that make every frustrating hour worth it. When you're carefully routing a set of vacuum lines, when a stubborn clip finally snaps into place, when a puzzle that seemed impossible suddenly starts making sense, something shifts inside you. Your mind goes quiet in the best possible way. Psychologists call it a flow state, that rare mental space where time dissolves and you're completely absorbed in what you're doing. For me, this garage is where I find that state every single time. It's not exhaustion. It's clarity. It's the closest thing to meditation I've ever known. In those hours, the machine and I aren't separate. We're moving together, breathing together, thinking together. And nothing in the digital world has ever come close to giving me that. But beyond the craft, beyond the challenge, there's an emotional truth at the center of all of this. People change. Relationships evolve. Life throws things at you that you never saw coming. But this Mercedes? She's always here. Her cold steel, her clean lines, her quiet presence. They give me something rare in this world: stability. Trust. The kind of comfort you feel with an old friend who's never let you down. When life gets heavy, I come to this garage, not to escape reality, but to find myself again within it. This car has become my safe haven, a place where I don't have to perform, don't have to explain, don't have to be anything other than exactly who I am. There's also something deeply nostalgic about this work, and I think that's something a lot of Americans feel in their bones, even if they can't quite name it. This Mercedes comes from a golden era, a time when cars weren't built to a price point, they were built to a standard. When engineers asked not, how cheap can we make this, but how long will this last? When a door handle had weight, purpose, and pride behind it. Driving this car connects me to an America that valued craftsmanship, that believed quality was worth the extra cost, that understood some things were worth building to last. That world may feel distant now, but in this garage, through this machine, I can still touch it. And then there's the matter of control, something that feels increasingly rare in modern life. Algorithms decide what you see. Software updates change how your devices work overnight. Everything is managed, monitored, and mediated by systems you'll never fully understand. But in this garage, I am in complete control. My wrench, my decision, my hands. If something breaks, I figure out why. If something doesn't work, I find the answer. There's no error message, no customer support line, no subscription required. This analog world is my declaration of independence, proof that a human being, with patience and skill and determination, can understand and master something completely. That feeling is becoming rare, which is exactly why it's becoming priceless. And I'm not alone in this. There's a brotherhood out here, quiet, spread across every state, united by a three-pointed star. When I pull up at a gas station and a stranger walks over with a grin and says, "What year is she?" That's not small talk. That's recognition. When someone gives me a thumbs up from across the street, they're not admiring my wealth. They're saluting the hours, the sacrifice, the obsession. We don't have membership cards or monthly dues. Our community is built on a shared understanding that we all chose the harder, better path. And that unspoken bond between people who've never met but immediately understand each other is one of the most genuine connections I've found in this modern world. But here's what drives me more than anything else. This isn't just for me. What I'm building in this garage is a legacy, a piece of history that will outlast me. Long after I'm gone, this Mercedes will still be rolling down some American road, turning heads, telling a story. My children, or their children, will understand what real quality looks like, not because someone told them, but because they'll be able to see it, touch it, and drive it. In a disposable world, leaving behind something built to endure is one of the most powerful statements a person can make. This car is my promise to the future, because that's exactly what this is, a quiet act of rebellion. The modern system tells you to buy new, discard the old, and upgrade every few years. Cars today are engineered with expiration dates, dependent on software, subscriptions, and parts that will simply stop being made. But this Mercedes? She's immortal. Every hour I spend keeping her alive is a refusal to accept that narrative. It's my pushback against a culture that calls everything old junk and everything new progress. Real progress isn't always about what's newest. Sometimes, it's about having the wisdom to recognize what was already perfect and the dedication to preserve it. And then comes the moment that makes all of it real. The engine turns over. The lights glow. Every system hums to life. I slide into the driver's seat, pull out onto an open road, and watch the sun fall toward the horizon. In that moment, everything becomes clear. I didn't just restore this car restored me. It reminded me who I am. My patience. My standards. My belief that some things in this world are worth doing right, no matter the cost. The best or nothing. That's not just a slogan on a badge. For those of us who truly live it, it's a philosophy, a way of seeing the world, a standard that, once you hold it, you simply cannot let go.